Control is a third-person supernatural action-adventure game developed by Remedy Studios. If that name sounds familiar, it's because they're responsible for such titles as Alan Wake and Quantum Break, both of which are critically acclaimed. Control was released on August 27, 2019 for PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4. It was nominated for several awards, including 2 Best Performance nominations, one being for the game's protagonist, Courtney Hope, Best Narrative, Best Art Direction, which it won, and even Game of the Year. Not to mention it was well received by critics and gamers alike, so naturally I had to get my hands on it. Unfortunately, I have to be honest, when I first started playing, nothing really clicked with me. I remember completing the first main story mission before completely opting out and abandoning the game for several months. However, when I returned to creating content, one of the ideas I had was to finally complete the dozens of games I have installed on my console, and Control was at the top of that list. So instead of just beating them in front of a camera, I'm going to try something new. For the last week and a half, I've solely focused on beating Control so I can make this video, and guys, I honestly had a lot of fun. So I'm going to break this video down into 3 parts: the world, the gameplay, and the narrative. Now, even though this game is a few years old, expect a few spoilers. This isn't particularly a traditional review, but I will hit a few story beats to help this video. Now, without further ado, let's talk Control. Part 1. The World. Now, this game takes place in what we found out to be the FBC, or the Federal Bureau of Control. And even as you progress through the game and gain access to more sections and areas, it still feels rather condensed, and I don't mean that in a bad way. The game wants you to feel small among the supernatural threat the FBC faces. From the top floor with the executives to the containment sector way down at the bottom, the game excels in making the threat ever present no matter where you are. And in several areas within these sections are control points for you to either claim or cleanse. Control points are used for upgrading your loadout and fast traveling within the very intricate walls of the FBC. One of the first things you'll notice when playing Control is there are several bodies just floating in the air, most of them wearing formal wear, presumably workers of the FBC, before being corrupted. And something that may not be as obvious is in certain areas of the game, you will actually hear whispers in your ear. So if you're playing with headphones on, you will hear whispers in your ear, and not the pleasant kind. So the game definitely carries this bleak and somewhat unsettling tone, to where the moment you take control of the stick, you notice something isn't right. It's definitely not a horror game, but it could maybe fit in the horror spectrum for simply its atmosphere alone. Another way the devs build the world of Control is by having their collectibles be things such as documents and even voice recordings about the events transpiring in the FBC. Now, of course, this isn't anything groundbreaking, but it's really significant because of where you are in the game. The game strictly takes place in a federal building of Control, and it reminds me of the collectibles in Outlast, or even their other title, Quantum Break. The world, or should I say the FBC, feels like its own character, influencing your decisions and encouraging you to explore the many walls and many secrets that it holds. And despite how condensed the game feels on the surface, it does quite literally have layers, and even after spending several hours on it, I still haven't explored everything, but I definitely will have to go back to see. Part 2. The gameplay. Now, Control's gameplay isn't anything too special, but it does give the players a lot of variety for taking out enemies, and even has an upgrade tree for all your skills to choose and unlock. Some skills you unlock narratively as you make your way through the story, but others are obtained through side missions. You can do a lot. You can launch objects and debris at enemies, shield yourself with that debris, evade attacks, and eventually gain the ability to levitate, which are all crucial to beating various types of enemies, which Control definitely doesn't lack. There are more low-level enemies like the corrupted guards and soldiers with basic melee and shooting attacks. There are even these demon-like enemies that fly around you and typically dodge your launched attacks, prompting you to change it up. Then you have larger boss-type enemies that'll surround themselves in debris or armor, not to mention their large health bar, and the further you progress in the game, the more frequent they become. Right. And also the more challenging all the enemies become. But many, if not all, those attacks use energy, which can run out. But thanks to the upgrade tree and mods you can collect or unlock through the game, you can customize your preferred loadout. In addition to the energy attacks, you have different types of guns known in Control as your service weapons, an object of power tied to the astral plane. The Grip, a semi-auto weapon, the Shatter, a shotgun-like weapon, the Pierce, which is a powerful one-shot that can fire through walls, Spin, a rapid-fire weapon, and Charge. The Charge service weapon causes like an explosive type damage. The game even contains loads of options to change the way you play, and not just the typical sensitivity adjustments. It offers players many options from aim assistance to how fast you want to move, and even has options for a one-hit kill and immortality, so you can't die. But what's interesting about the immortality thing is that even though you turn on immortality, you still lose health, I guess, to stay immersed in the game. But it definitely does help. And yeah, it definitely has a variety of that stuff. But the FBC is packed with combat, traversal, and puzzle challenges that offer a wide range of activities to not only flesh out the world, but even more than that, make us all feel like we're truly facing the threat. The gameplay mechanics are reminiscent of other games and I'm sure many of you have played, but none of which are like, I don't know, it's interesting, the gameplay. It's really fun. If you guys haven't tried it, I definitely recommend it. Part 3. The narrative. Look, I'll be completely honest with you guys. Going into Control in the first half, I was thoroughly confused as to where this game was going. But by the end, I understood why it was nominated for Best Narrative. So like I've been saying, the game revolves around the FBC, a secret United States government agency tasked with containing and studying phenomena that violate the laws of reality. We play as Jesse Faden, the Bureau's new director. As we explore the oldest house, the FBC's paranormal headquarters, we must use the abilities we've obtained to defeat a powerful entity known as the Hiss. The same thing that corrupted Jesse's brother, which has invaded and corrupted reality. We meet several characters along our main journey, characters like Marshall and Emily and Ati, the janitor, who might be the best character in this game, but more on that later. But let me keep my promise from earlier and I'll focus on Jesse. Something I find particularly interesting is whenever Jessie is speaking to another character, the camera zooms in super close to her face so we can like hear her thoughts, like we're in on what she's saying. And not just from a narrative standpoint, but Jessie is also possessed by something that is essentially guiding her as she traverses the FBC. Which reminds me of like a Beyond Two Souls kind of relationship. Like only Jessie is less involved physically, because that guiding spirit she listens to is essentially us, the player. But at least that's what I get. That was my interpretation of it. And Jessie traverses all floors and sections of the FBC until finally confronting the Hiss, achieving what she set out to do in the first place. All in all, I thoroughly enjoyed Control. If you haven't played it, I definitely recommend it, and I hope I didn't spoil too much for your experience. This game, to me, was a triumph. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did, and I think it's just that. Like, it surprised me in a lot of ways. I hope this video was informative enough. It's just something I want to talk about because I finally got around to playing it, and you know, instead of sitting in front of the camera stressing about beating it, I just beat it and I talk about it. And I hope you guys enjoy this new formatting of videos, but I'm just giving my first try. I don't know why I'm talking like I'm ending the video, but Control, yes, I do think it was a triumph. There's a reason it was nominated for so many awards. I don't know why. I was beating myself over the head because I had abandoned this game when I first got it, and here I am making an entire video dedicated to it, which should tell you the amount of just greatness I think is in this game. And there are 2 more expansions that I did not mention in this video that they have added to the game. none of which I've played yet. I simply was trying to finish the story first. Who knows, in the future I'll go back, maybe on a stream or a different video. Let me know if you guys want me to revisit it and talk about that. I would gladly do it because I love this game, and there are still a dozen things that I maybe didn't do. Like I said, I was just powering through the main story, but even then I really did find it really fun. But okay, going off script here, there is something I wanted to talk to you guys about. Well, two things before I end the video. There is a part in this game which is particularly interesting to me, and it was really, really cool, and I'm going to let it play out. I'm going to describe what it is, and I'm going to let it play out. Towards the end of the game, I believe the second to last mission, there is a part where Jesse, how do I describe this? There's a part where Jesse, our main character, it's like an expectation subversion, like she gets corrupted by something, and the credits start to roll. Now, initially when I saw the credits roll, I thought I did something wrong. I thought this was one of those games where you have to complete a set number of missions before getting the true ending, and I was ready to get upset and restart my save and do whatever it is I needed to do. But it turns out that those were fake credits, and not only were those fake credits, but the credits become more distorted and start moving off the screen and slurred and slanted and askew, and it was really interesting. So I'm going to play that clip for you guys now.
The poster comes down and there's nothing there. It's just the cell and death. I was wrong. There was never anything there. Hello? Polaris, are you there? Please can't be so. Let me sleep. Please. I just want to sleep now. Let me sleep.
You are a worm through time. The thunder song distorts you. Happiness comes. White pearls and go.
So like I said, just that in particular was very, very interesting to me, and I think something that made this game especially unique. Now again, nothing too groundbreaking, but in the content of a game like Control, it really caught me off guard, and it was a pleasant surprise and a pleasant fake out, leading to the epic final mission. Before I close out this video, there was another thing I wanted to talk about. Earlier in the video I mentioned a character named Ahti. Now, Ahti in this game is the janitor, right? But I don't think Ahti is just a janitor. He is a janitor in the Federal Bureau of Control. So he knows some things, right? But one of the best things about this game, and I'll play this and I'll end off the video, is a little section called the Ashtray Maze. Now, when you enter the Ashtray Maze the first time, it'll run you around in circles. You will try to traverse it and it will run you in circles. Then the game's mission will redirect you to finding Ahti, because he knows the secret to traversing it and not it leading you around in circles. So when you find Ahti, he gives you his headset, because apparently the only way to traverse the Ashtray Maze is through music. So once we obtain his radio, something very cool happens, right? And this was really important to me. This is really cool for me, and really cool for me to show, is because it's rare that a game like this does this, or does something like this. I've experienced it in Guardians of the Galaxy, the game. That was just one offhand. I can't think of another one that does that, but it's really cool. And it's something that, like I said, it caught me off guard, and it brought the game up to a 10 out of 10 for me. When I was looking up, when I first got stuck in the Ashtray Maze, I was looking up tutorials, because I thought I had missed something. And up to that point, I'm pretty sure I hadn't missed anything, but I wanted to be sure. And when I searched it up, every single title was called the best part of the game, the Ashtray Maze. So I was like, what's so special about this maze if it keeps running me around in circles? I'm going to show you guys now. And then once I show you, that'll be the end of the video. So before you guys watch this clip, please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed videos like this. This is my first one, so I'm enjoying making them. I have a couple of other ones lined up. And this is the kind of way I want to start doing things now. Let me know how you guys feel about it. Let me know what you guys want to see next. And until my next video, I will see you guys when I see you guys. Peace. Enjoy.
That was awesome.